Welcome to Business Innovators Radio, featuring industry influencers and trendsetters sharing proven strategies to help you build a better life right now.
Welcome to the show today. We've got a great guest. We've got Tamzin Cochrane of TamzinCochrane.com of Love the Kitchen, Love Yourself. She's a speaker, and she's got a great program she's going to introduce us today. It's all about helping children start to cook so they can become healthy. So welcome to the show, Tamzin.
Thank you very much.
So let's just get right into it. Tell me about your business and what types of clients and customers that you're helping.
My business is all about getting people back in the kitchen. That is my passion in life. If we can get people cooking again, then by default we can get people healthy again. And the reason we've become unhealthy is because we don't really know what we're eating anymore. We seem to have been sent down that path of packaged food is good, or fast food is good, or eating out is good. And that isn't necessarily true. So I think the whole purpose of a kitchen isn't just to get you healthy, but it gets you communicating, it gets you connecting with your family, it gets you trying different food. So if I can get children back in the kitchen, it seems to be a lost art. And I've discovered this just by the amount of children that come through my house and go, oh, we've just come in time to eat dinner because we want to sit around the table and eat real food. And that's what I'm really enjoying doing, is getting children cooking again, getting them exploring, getting them to understand how much sugar is in fudge when you make it, how much simple syrup is in a sorbet. Just if they make these things, then they have real comprehension. They actually understand when someone says, you shouldn't have that much tomato ketchup, it's full of sugar. If they've made tomato ketchup, they actually know what's in it. It's simple things like that that make a huge difference and a huge impact on their life. And that's what's important to me. I just want to make that impact on their life so that they can then carry on and teach their children how to cook.
That's excellent. Now, when you say children, is there a specific age group? Or are you talking, what's that age group look like?
Actually, one of the fun things about cooking is all of us can do it at all ages. And I do have a course out there which is for the young adult, if you like, the college student, the person new to cooking, that they can go and do. And I really don't mind if you're not a child and you want to learn to cook. But my program that I'm also putting in place for schools to use, after school care, your kindergartens and preschools, then it actually does start at a very young age. As soon as, my children started cooking and helping and getting ingredients for me the moment they could actually toddle around the kitchen. So for me, there isn't an age limit. There just isn't an age limit. Introduce children and get them going. And my program is one that we're putting into preschools. So children as young as 2 are going to be able to actually start chopping bananas and making fruit kebabs, and they'll enjoy doing it, taking us all the way up to those college students who are leaving home for the first time and realizing how expensive it is to eat out, whereas in actual fact they could make spaghetti and meatballs for $5 and have a much bigger, healthier, nice meal and a fantastic smelling hall of residence.
That's excellent. So what led you to this field, and what led you to start this type of program in cooking, and how did you get started?
Well, I started cooking knee-high to a grasshopper. I have always cooked. And I've been very fortunate that I had a grandmother and parents that both excel at cooking. It's part and parcel of their day. So that led me down that field very early on, and I went to catering college as well. So when I had come out of catering college, I joined the catering and hospitality industry, and I've worked in that industry for 30-odd years, so a very long time, and absolutely love it. No, I haven't always cooked through it all, but I've always been around the kitchens and looking at the food safety side of it as well. But I have never stopped cooking personally. and I've always cooked on the side for people. So I have a huge passion for the industry and love it. But when I moved to America 8 years ago, initially I'm not allowed to work, and that's the system, and that's fine. But once our green card came through, and I was sitting here at home, I had to think about what my skill set was that would work in America. And I've always believed that you should do what you're passionate about. Otherwise, getting up to work every day is just no fun. And I only got one life, so I intend to live it to the full. So my passion is definitely food. I always think about food and looking at different foods. I love going around farmers markets. I love cooking. I cook if I'm mad, sad, happy, you name it, I cook. So I decided to actually explore creating my American world into a cooking one. And it was an easy transition to make because I found it very frightening, the level of sugar and salt in the food here. I found it frightening how little information is given on the labels and how you're not able to compare like for like. And I think that confuses people. So the easiest way to not worry about what's in all these processed foods is to actually cook. And that's when I discovered people actually had lost that art. It was deemed, something that you didn't do. And I think that's amazingly sad. I think it's a loss for a family as a whole, for relationships. I think there's so much fun in being in the kitchen together and chatting and talking and things like that. I just love it. So for me, it was a very easy transition across. And once I started the process of doing my online course and talking to people about this, the business has just grown and grown. And that's when I discovered there was a real need for children to learn how to cook. It's just not something that is taught in the majority of homes anymore. And that was an area that I just thought I can actually deal with that because I still have children at home. My children can cook. And I just wanted to pass that on. I just want children cooking. It will make such a difference in their life. And it's a life skill as well as a social skill. It brings your maths in, your science in, your English in. So it's a win-win on every angle for a parent if they can get their children cooking as well. So that's what headed me here.
Absolutely. This next question I love asking all the entrepreneurs that I'm grateful for interviewing is, was there someone along the way that inspired you to where you're at today?
There have been a number of people that I'm very grateful for. Some who I've never met. For example, if you looked at somebody iconic like Jamie Oliver, he has a real passion about helping solve the obesity problem in children around the world. And he's just a down-to-earth guy who wants people, cooking and thinking about what they're eating. I like that. I've always liked his cookbooks, but I like that. On a personal level, then definitely my mum has always believed in me. She's an amazing cook anyway. And she's willing to try anything and new recipes, and she's just passed that on to me. She had me cooking as a small child, and I have photos of my mum, myself, and one of my children when he was probably less than 2. We're all stirring the Christmas pudding. Those are amazing memories, and having somebody who believes in you and your ability, it gives you that confidence to keep going down the line on those days when being an entrepreneur, as you know, can some days be lonely and you're, will this work? And you still leap because that's what being an entrepreneur is about. I know I can ring my mum and she's going to go, it's okay, you can do it. What's the worst that can happen, Tamzin? So it's probably looking on that level. It's my mum's been a huge influence in getting this business up and going and all the different angles to it, even though she's actually 5,000 miles away. So anyone listening, you do not need somebody in the same room as you.
Absolutely. Well, that's a great story. Thanks for sharing that. We spoke earlier about, I sense your passion, but what is it deep down that makes you get out of bed and help the people that you're helping? Where do you get that passion from?
Wow, I don't know where I get that passion from. You're right, I have a lot of passion. I think when I look around the world, I think it's very sad now that we have got, for the first time ever, they're predicting we've got a generation coming up that will die before the previous generation. That's never happened before. And if they don't die, they're going to be under medical care for the longest. And the saddest, that's a sad fact in itself, but the saddest thing is, in the majority of cases, we can reverse that. We can actually reverse that with our diet. And we can actually stop the obesity. We can stop a lot of heart conditions, kidney, diabetes. A lot of these instances could be reversed if we change our diet. And it's that simple fact that you could reverse it and reverse it quickly. You would see results within a month. And it's just getting that message over to people that cooking isn't difficult. And the simpler you keep it, actually, the better it is for you. You don't need to complicate the issue of cooking. You just need to get cooking. So for me, it's let's reverse this trend. Let's stop that statistic being true. We owe that to that generation coming through now. We need to educate them. It's an unfortunate fact that they've got there, but we can reverse it. Let's reverse it.
Yeah, there's some startling statistics out there about kids and fast food and how it's affecting their metabolic systems and things like that. It's really scary. So I appreciate your passion for that. So you talked about some of the problems associated with, cooking your own meals. We're a fast-paced society right now, and everybody claims they don't have time. What is one of the most common obstacles preventing people from being involved with their children and being able to cook their own meals? What are you finding the most common obstacle?
Well, without alienating anybody, it's themselves, because we've got ourselves into a mindset that says it's quicker to go out and eat than it is to stay in and eat. And I don't understand that mindset, because to go out, one, you've got to get everybody ready to go out, chivvy them all along, get them in the car, drive to the restaurant, park, go in, wait, sit, menus come, wait, orders come, wait, food comes, wait, check comes, wait. Seriously, you've got to get home. I can cook a 3-course meal in 1 hour from start to finish. So in that 1 hour, 1, I'm conversing with my children. 2, I'm showing them a skill. 3, they're actually helping in the home because they may be helping me prep or laying the table or doing their homework. We're still all there, and we put a quick, simple, healthy, tasty meal on the table. It does not take long to cook, and I think it's that mindset where we believe actually it's going to take ages, and I really don't want to do the washing up and things like that. We have created all these objections ourselves, and we need to actually just take them down. Change is never easy. We all know that. But if you do start changing and thinking, okay, we're going to cook tonight, slowly but surely your skills will improve, your speed will improve, you'll realize what equipment you don't have or you do need. And slowly but surely, you'll discover you are sitting down as a family, conversing and having a meal. And for me, I will feel like I have achieved, because it isn't difficult to cook a meal. It's our mindset. And we need to change our mindset around. And as soon as you can do that, give it a go. You should never, they say if you want to eat an elephant, you just start with 1 bite. It's exactly the same principle. Just start cooking, and it will have a huge impact on your life, and it will have a huge impact on your family life as well.
That's a great point. You think about what it takes to get people ready, and travel time and wait time and getting into the restaurant. That's a lot of time. So there's really no excuse for not having time.
There really isn't. And I know that many children these days are in sports. We have that same juggle in our house some evenings where, I have children, they're going different directions and it's at different times. And you're like, well, we'll just, all eat at different times. We do not let that happen. Now, we like to have our mealtime at the same time every night. That's when we'll put tea on the table and we'll all sit down and eat. But, family equals flexible. We have to be. So we actually, if there's going to be a night when there's a bit of juggling or, the soccer matches and things like that, then I'm either going to bring that forward or I'm going to give them a light snack when they come in to hold them through. And then we're going to sit down later for our main meal, which, once again, because I know it's later, I'm not going to make it a heavy meal. I'll make it nutritious, but I'm not going to make it heavy because you can't sleep well on a heavy meal. So it's planning. Planning is definitely my secret. In case you were going to ask that question, planning is my secret.
Well, the next question is, can you give an example or tell a story on how you've actually helped someone overcome some of these challenges?
Oh, well, yes. Let's think of a good one for you. So I have a neighbor who has, all her children go in every which direction and lots of sports, and they're always doing running around. So they were struggling to be able to cook because they both work during the day. But their mornings are very set. That was an easy time of the day for them because they do all get up and they know what they're doing. So we just changed it around that they were putting on the slow cooker or crock pot, as you say here in America, in the morning with, the meat and the vegetables and everything, so that actually it was ready when they came in from school before they started all their extracurricular. So they were able to just look at their day. They knew when the chaos of the day was, and that was the end of it. Their mornings were fairly serene. So we just changed it around to giving them lots of meals, if you like, one-pot meals. And there's loads of them out there that would actually let them, on those days where after-school activities were causing them a problem, they were actually able to have the meal ready. They didn't have to worry about it in the evening. Once again, it comes down to planning. But you can do it. And that, to me, is all that it's about, is creating a great meal for the family that you know exactly what's in that meal.
Yes, that crock pot's really saved a lot of time and meals for us as well.
It is an amazing thing, and people forget about it.
I think her name was Regal, Chef Regal, I think it was. Oh, that's the brand. But thanks for sharing that story with us. What would be the best piece of advice that you would give someone who's really conscious and trying to change their eating and how they serve their family? What would be the best piece of advice that you would give?
I would look at what you are serving, and as I said, change. None of us enjoy sudden and abrupt change. So sometimes we need to ease our family in to healthier foods. An example in this house is we only eat brown rice. And anyone who comes through this house and I serve up rice, they don't even, question it or stop it. But if you make a great big fuss about we're not having white rice, it's not so good for you, we're going for brown rice, you're instantly giving the mindset to them to object. So try and do little changes without really making a song and dance about it. I like to try and go 90% of what I'm cooking is whole foods, and only 10% is processed foods. So, your pasta or your rice or anything like that, your flour, you're keeping that down to the 10%. And by default, if you're making 90% of what you're eating a whole food, then you're already, the nutrition that's coming to you is fantastic. The level of, salts or chemicals, that's one of our biggest problems, is the chemicals that are in food. You've just eliminated them from your life because you're taking that raw meat and cooking it, or those raw vegetables, salad items, fruit. There's so much out there. If you can, and maybe at the moment you need to go 50-50 because it would be a huge shock to your household. But just look at that and slowly but surely move it up and try and go to that 90-10. Your fridge should be packed full of, food that you have created or leftovers or, your whole food. And it will have a huge impact on your life. That one thing of looking at your ratios of processed to whole foods.
Well, that's a great nugget right there. Thanks for sharing that. I'm sure people can take that for action right away. If the reader and listener are ready to find out more about how you can help them, what's the best way for them to do that?
I have lots of videos up on YouTube under Tamzin Cochrane, literally showing you how to cook. I have a blab show every week, 11 o'clock Central Time on a Wednesday, and that's me cooking live, and you can actually see what's scheduled. So that's once again showing you, and those are recorded, and they'll go on my YouTube, so you can see them there. Obviously, my website is full of information. My blog is giving you lots of hints and tips as well. And you can sign up to get fortnightly newsletters, and they'll always come with a recipe and tips and tricks and things like that. And my website has got recipes on as well. And if there's a particular recipe that you want, you've got a family favorite, and you're looking at it and thinking, I know this isn't healthy, feel free to send it to me, and I will play with it and give you suggestions on swapping out things to make it healthier, but keep the recipe, keep the essence of that recipe. I'm very happy to do that. And once again, that's on tamzincochrane.com.
Excellent. They're ready to contact you right now. Can they call you or email you? How can they get a hold of you?
They can email me at tamzin@tamzincochrane.com, and that will come straight through to me.
Excellent. Well, thank you very much for your time today and your awesome content, and I appreciate you being on the show.
Thank you very much. It's been wonderful sharing with you today.
Well, there you have it. Until the next time.
Thanks for listening to Business Innovators Radio. To hear all episodes featuring leading industry influencers and trendsetters, visit us online at businessinnovatorsradio.com today.